Yeah, Howard hurt his ankle there. I think it's just a sprain at this point, but not sure. And Rogers had a little bit of a calf injury there at some point in practice. Juwan? Oh, yeah, he did. I didn't watch him, but I didn't hear otherwise. I would have heard if it wasn't going good.
Coach, how serious is DaeSean?
Not as bad as could have been. You know, he woke up feeling better today, so encouraged that it will be short rather than long, but you know how those hamstrings can go.
What did McKnight and DaeSean's spot look like today quite a bit?
Yeah, he did all right. He's progressing. The wide receiver position has been hit a little bit with the injury bug, so these younger guys are getting opportunities, and sometimes that's how you find somebody.
When a rookie quarterback's drinking out of that firehouse, what do you look for to see progress?
Don't make the same mistake twice. Improvement, confidence, the ability to move on to the next play, no matter what happened the previous play, and be able to handle themselves in the huddle, you know, and be commanding out there. Give the other 10 guys confidence that they know what they're doing. And that's done two ways. 80% of it is performance, but 20% is how you carry yourself too. He's getting better. I think he's getting better. He's not what I would call, he's not a union NFL quarterback yet, but he's improving.
Is there a card issue?
Maybe.
Is it time for him to get more responsibilities, more reps with twos, more just in the mix a little bit more?
I think we're mixing it pretty good. You know, we've tried our reps here, and after the first 5 practices, they about fell just the way we wanted them to. Nobody was much more than 37%, and nobody was much lower than 28%. Now, some of the guys that were injured, you don't count those, but so we're right where we want to be right now.
Your defense has always produced takeaways and things for years. What is the key to getting those, and specifically as it relates to the secondary, getting a group that can produce takeaways?
Well, guys that can catch, number one, and then guys that have a feel for where the ball's going. So it's a combination. You know, you got to be able to put yourself in position to get an interception, but then you got to finish it by catching it. And there's been a lot of guys that could do the first part, couldn't do the second. Or some guys that could catch but never put himself in position. So that's part of it, and hopefully we can help them scheme-wise to get in those positions.
What do you see from this group?
They've been doing well. You know, I think Justin's had a very good camp overall. He did drop a pick today, which he hadn't done up to this point. I think overall in the secondary, most of the guys have been doing pretty good. You know, the young guys are coming. They still make some mistakes, but overall I think our secondary's been on top of stuff.
Morning practice after practice.
Yeah.
How did your guys respond?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought our practice today was actually better than yesterday.
Ed Donatel said you sat down and kind of projected that Bryce could play outside. What did you see from him that made you think he was able to handle that responsibility?
Well, I was with him for 4 seasons in Chicago, and although he played nickel primarily for us on game day, you know, he did get a lot of corner reps in practice, especially in preseason and training camps. And I think it was his second year, we had a stretch because of injuries. We had to play him at corner. So, you know, we went back and watched all those plays in the offseason and decided that, you know, he's not just a nickel only for us. He possibly could be a corner for us too.
You did a lot of work on the running game today. You've seen all the offenses. What would you like to see from your offense? I know what kind of system you got, but you like run heavy, you know?
I want to move the ball, get first downs, and score points, and I'm not picky on how we do that. But there does come a point where you've got to be able to run the ball. If you can run the ball and you are patient with it, big plays can come off of that in your passing game. And I think we've done a good job marrying our running game and play-action game together, and we're looking to hit some big plays off of that. Saying that, you always want to avoid negative runs, you know. 2nd and 8's better than 2nd and 12. You're not happy you only got 2, but, you know, you're moving. Okay, so I think we have to have the ability and the confidence that we can run the ball and stay with it. But if there's a game we got to throw it 45 times, by our choice, not by the scoreboard, then I'm fine with that too.
So it seems like there's been a lot of bad snaps, multiple per day, more so than I can ever remember. Is that a concern for you? Are you noticing the same thing?
Yeah, I've noticed it. There are too many right now, and obviously that's something that's got to get cleaned up. Years ago, when the NFL teams first went to shotgun, I always used to say that there's going to be 8 to 10 bad plays a year on offense just because of that. And what's happened is there's not that many because, you know, the kids are playing high school football in the gun, their colleges are playing it in the gun, and they're more ready for it, but it still can be a problem. Some of those we've had today not today, this camp, have been the quarterback's fault. Ball's right there, and they're taking their eyes off it too quick, and they're not catching it. It hasn't all been the center's fault. But you're right, it's the most basic fundamental there is. If we can't get that, doesn't matter what play we call it. So that obviously has to be perfect soon.
Where are you with Kareem Jackson? Are you still experimenting with him at safety, or is he safety corner? What is that?
Right now, we focused him on safety. We want to give him these first 2 weeks a good chunk of time there and get him feeling good about there because that's where he's played the least in his career. So we would like to get him ironed out there. He still can be a nickel for us and in emergency can play corner. And at some point here in the next few weeks, we'll get him some work there.
Is Saturday's practice going to look pretty similar to this?
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will be. It'll be a practice. There'll be no live action. There'll be team periods, a 7-on-7, some kicking periods, etc.
Royce Freeman, back on that running game. Royce Freeman, you like what he brings to it?
Yeah, I do. You know, he's obviously a lot different than Phillip, and I think when you can have different backs that bring different styles, that sometimes can help you. You know, one guy's a small, quick, fast guy, and the other guy's got a little more pop to him. You know, that change-up can be effective.
Last year around this time, we were seeing Cortland Sutton get big jump ball plays every day. We asked him about that yesterday, and he kind of said it feels like there's more of a design for him to be doing stuff that he's not good at. Is that something you try to design with most of the guys, putting them in situations where they're not comfortable?
Yeah, I think a common mistake players can make on their own and coaches can do too is just keep practicing what a guy does well. You know, you got to keep what you do well oiled up and always ready to go, but you got to become more of a complete player. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. And so we're trying to get him, expand his route tree, expand how he's getting the ball, and see if we can improve him that way.
How important is Emmanuel Sanders to this offense?
He can be very important. You know, if we can get him back to where he was, you know, he's still a top-level receiver when he's playing. He's got great elusiveness, quickness. You know, he's a savvy receiver. He's confident. He's got a little swag to him. So, and I think he can be. Yeah, I don't think he's gotten old yet.
How comfortable are you with Austin Ford at tight end, and could you envision keeping 2 rookies at that position?
Could. Yeah, definitely could. You know, when we pick the team, we're going to pick the best players that we think and the best combination of players. So he's been doing well. We'll see how he does next Thursday. See how he does Saturday. You know, hopefully there's 50,000 people there Saturday. Give him a little taste of a big environment, and then Hall of Fame game and the other preseason games. But he's been doing well. Now he's got to bring it. You know, the practice fields are the quizzes. The games are the final exam. So he's been doing okay in the quizzes. Let's see if he can carry it over.
How well have you gotten to know Mitch Taney since you've been here? And how does a guy like that who's constantly looking at analytics help you as a coach?
It helps. It's part of the equation. I like analytics. I look at everything he does. It does not control me, though. Football is a different game. You know, analytics in baseball is super valuable because you're only defending one person. You're defending the batter. Okay? Here, we got to defend 5 eligible, 6 if you count the quarterback. So when you're only defending one item, that's a whole lot easier, and analytics is more important. But when you've got 5 eligibles to defend, it puts a whole different spin on things. So analytics is important, but it is by no means the end-all, cure-all in football.
It seems like a lot of guys, the safeties especially, have a strong rapport with Steve Atwater. impactful do you think that can be, just to have somebody like him who's done it at such a high level?
I think he can do it because he's, like you said, was the player he was, but he's such a good guy too, and has the players' well-being. Those are his intentions all the way, and he doesn't overdo it. He doesn't underdo it. You know, he seems to know how to do it, and I've seen some guys getting those, try to do that and be more of a hindrance than a help, and that's not been the case with him.
Behind Freeman and Lindsey, what other tailbacks have really stood out to you in the last couple of days?
Well, they all have to different degrees, you know, in different plays. But, you know, the most important thing about a running back that we don't get to truly evaluate here is how do they make people miss? How do they make people miss tackles, you know? Is it all jukiness, speed, power, run through an arm tackle? So we get to see that in the games, you know, and that's ultimately the true evaluator.
Coach,
Last one here, man.
Brad Rippon, I know he's a young rookie quarterback. How is he progressing? And I know he's further down the ranks.
Yeah, he's one guy that hadn't gotten as many reps. You know, it's unusual to have 4 quarterbacks in camp. So his reps have been not equal to some of the other guys. But I think he's doing okay. Brett's a smart guy. He knows football, understands it. He has a good football background from Boise where he played a lot of football successfully. And we'll see how he progresses.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Okay.